Octave Dossou is not an ordinary baker in the city of Porto Novo. The graduate from the School of Public Works of Yamoussoukro in Côte d'Ivoire is now one of the pioneers in composite bread production in Benin. Tadegnon Bakeries is a leader in the promotion of bread made of a mix of wheat and maize flour, commonly known as gambarin lifin, in Benin.
Au départ, je ne suis pas boulanger de formation.
Initially, I was not a baker by training. Now I'm a baker by trade, but I'm rather a graduate from the School of Public Engineering of Yamoussoukro. Then, I took a master's degree in project management at the International Institute of Management in Porto Novo. I came to the bakery because I saw an opportunity for me. The peculiarity of our bakeries is that we are making all kinds of bread. In addition to ordinary bread, we are baking bread made with composite maize flour.
The manager of Tadegnon Bakeries explains that it all started a few years ago when the National Institute for Agricultural Research of Benin decided to promote the use of local grains flour in bakeries across the country. With the inception of WAP, the West Africa Agricultural Productivity Program, the experience was launched afresh, along with the organization of a study tour for selected bakers to Senegal, where composite bread making is already in advance.
Il faut dire que cela a commencé il y a de cela quelques années.
Actually, it all started a few years ago when we were approached by the National Agricultural Research Institute that was seeking to build partnerships with a number of bakers. Then, we started the experiment with local flour. We tried with cassava flour, maize flour, sorghum flour, till we eventually agreed on gambarin flour. And today, we are making bread with 15% of gambarin flour and 85% of wheat flour. Following our collaboration with INRA, we were approached by WAP seeking to encourage bakeries to experiment the use of local flour. WAP funded us a study trip to Senegal to see the work being done there with composite bread. And when we went to Dakar, we realized that they are more advanced than Benin. They make bread from flours of millet, cowpea, sorghum. We discussed with them, and when we returned, WAP helped us to popularize the bread among the population.
Nous sommes dans la bonne direction et depuis ce temps, nous sommes appuyés par le PPAO pour vulgariser la chose, pour faire connaître ce pain mix à la population béninoise.
Actually, composite bread manufacturing process is just a piece of cake. Every morning, Gustave Dossou and his 11 employees prepare the bread made of wheat and maize flour.
This one here is a sample of maize flour that we call gambarin in Cotonou and a sample of wheat flour. Visibly, there is a big difference. Maize flour is whiter than wheat flour. Here are 7.5 kg of wheat flour and 7.5 kg of maize flour. We can see that this amount of maize seems denser than wheat flour. This might be due to the particle size or density. Only experience can enable us to tell what makes the difference. So what we want to do this morning is to take 15% of maize flour and 85% of wheat flour to bake some bread.
Composite bread is made in 5 steps. First, wheat and maize flour are mixed in a kneader after weighing it. The baker then adds some yeast, which is composed of a set of bread improvers. After that, the baker mixes the flour. For the kneading process to be successful, ice chips are added to the dough. According to Dossou Tadegnon, ice is used because of the high water content of the mixed flour. After the mixing, the baker will then move on to the second phase by accelerating the pace of the dough kneader for 30 minutes. At the end of this stage, the result is a well-mixed paste. Then the dough is put on the table in order to be cut. This is the third step in the bread making process.
Là, nous sommes à la troisième phase.
Here we are at the third stage in the process of bread baking. This is shaping. It consists in cutting the dough into small portions called dough slices. We thereafter shape the baguettes.
Ensuite, en baguette.
Once the baguettes are shaped, the fourth step of the process is the final fermentation of the bread. This phase consists in letting the dough layers to bulk up for about an hour. This step is important because it allows bakers to place the breadsticks in an anaerobic environment, that is to say where there is very little air. With the effects of yeast, the baguettes will increase 3 times the original volume. After the fourth phase comes the last step of baking. Quality is the main advantage of composite bread. With respect to its shape, it is not any different from ordinary bread. But in reality, composite bread has a golden crust and it is much heavier than ordinary bread. The weight is considered one of its advantages because this bread is more filling for consumers.
Je crois que définitivement, ce n'est pas du tout mal de consommer ce type de pain, en ce sens que déjà le gluten est difficile à digérer.
I think it's definitely not bad to consume this type of bread insofar as it already contains gluten. Since gluten is difficult to digest, it's good for anyone to eat this type of bread. Our food intake in Benin and in the sub-region is already based on maize. I mean, we usually consume maize flour, so eating maize bread would not be a significant change. Studies are underway to determine which type of diabetic people can consume this type of bread, but it's definitely a good kind of bread. From a nutritionist standpoint, I would recommend it. Also, interestingly, the bread is seemingly quite heavier for the same amounts of flour used. So we are trying to find out whether it is more fibrous and whether it contains other nutrients. A small slice is enough to feed one person, so it also has a nutritional advantage.
Mais vous vous rassasiez vite. Ça aussi, c'est un avantage nutritionnel.
Composite bread offers great economic opportunities for the managers of Tadagnon bakeries. Every day, 3,000 baguettes are produced and sold in this bakery. In terms of distribution, some women and young people come and collect the bread on a daily basis at the bakery to resell it. All these people are making money just with the marketing of the bread.
La bonne dame qui vient chercher du pain, elle le prend à 100 francs.
The ladies who come to collect the bread pay 100 francs for a loaf and resell them 125 CFA francs. They have a profit margin of 25 francs on each baguette. If they happen to sell a lot, they make more money. However, to the young people who come to collect the bread with motorcycles, we are selling the baguette at 90 CFA francs. They resell it at 100 CFA francs to the women and earn 10 francs on each bread. In fact, they take larger quantities of bread. A young man can take 1,000 or 1,500 loaves a day, while the women often take 100, 150, or at the most 200 loaves a day. With this bread, it's win-win for both bakers and consumers. Bread producers do make profit in the sense that we are promoting our local cereals. Plus, this bread does not go stale quickly. Another benefit is that the bread does not cost more than the traditional wheat flour bread. But we thought that if we work with producers and sellers, we will succeed in lowering the production cost.
Nous allons arriver à baisser le coût de production de ce pain-là.
In spite of his reluctance to reveal his daily turnover, we can guesstimate that Tadagnon bakeries earn nearly 3 million CFA francs per day. Today, the manager is leading a successful business and contemplates opening a showcase bakery in the city of Cotonou, where the numerous lovers of the bread can buy it every day. But beyond these profitable business opportunities, the advantage of this technology is that it could have significant economic implications for the entire economy of Benin.
L'avantage de cette technologie va faire que on va réduire un peu les importations, donc réduire.
The benefit of this technology is that we will reduce imports, reduce the outflow of foreign currencies, and at the same time will create new opportunities for maize farming, in addition to more than 40 maize products through the use of new maize derivatives. The production of this mixed flour will boost maize production and will generate other types of jobs because the flour is used in baking and pastry, which was not the case a few years ago. We must now raise awareness for take-up of this maize flour by the population.
Former les gens sur cette utilisation de la farine, sur cette nouvelle forme d'utilisation de la farine de maïs.
The wide dissemination of this technology could also help create jobs, especially for young people who want to earn money. Indeed, with this technology alone, project promoters can create ventures in 3 business sectors. First, the manufacturing of wheat flour and the associated maize flour, bread making, and confectionery products using this technology.
L'appel, ce serait pas plutôt aux jeunes, c'est d'abord à nous-mêmes.
I'm appealing to the youths and to ourselves first. I call on us as stakeholders to make these technologies known to others, to the whole population. Let them know that there are 3 technologies in this package. The production of bread flour is an activity that can generate revenues. Then bread making with that flour is one of the technologies developed, and pastry cooking, which is the 3rd technology. We must take up the challenge of popularizing the technology, promoting it as much as possible, making it known and creating demand. Once demand is triggered, I am confident that the rest will follow naturally. And to the young people in general, I would urge them to support us as soon as demand is created and that the technology is known. The future is bright for these technologies, out of which one can make a lot of money. And I know we can make a living out of that.
In many West African countries, research has enabled to respond to skyrocketing wheat prices in global market through the combination of wheat and local flour. In Benin, the combination of wheat and maize flour was launched by PTTA in collaboration with the ENCOS of Benin and the West Africa Agricultural Productivity Program. After the technology was developed and approved, it was popularized by the Benin ENCOS.
Just like the processing of agricultural products, the goal is to add value. The PTA is essential for all our agricultural products, especially maize, hence the technologies being developed by PTA. I think the first action to be taken by the ENCOS and WAP is to ensure this technology is disseminated.
La contribution du CNS Maïs de façon précise dans cette activité, c'est d'abord faire le répertoire qui a été fait. Et donc,
more specifically, the contribution of the ENCOS of Benin in this business is to first make an inventory, including the identification of this technology. Actually, in the beginning, it was not well documented. It had been produced by researchers. Technical specifications existed, but had not been sufficiently documented to be made usable by other stakeholders, including bakers, confectioners, and the youths who wanted to adopt this technology as part of an income-generating activity. The ENCOS of Benin held a working session that brought together both the researchers who developed the technology and bakers and confectioners who tested it, plus some people who had tasted these products then. So they gathered somewhere, and this made it possible to document the process from the beginning and to identify the challenges and benefits. The work was conducted by the ENCOS of Benin, and the result will serve all stakeholders using this document, as they will be able to easily use this technology. We'll make sure demand is triggered. Once we get to create demand, the rest becomes easy. people will automatically begin producing bread flour.
Et les gens vont se mettre à fabriquer de la farine panifiable. Et donc cela s'auto-régule automatiquement.
For the development and wide dissemination of this technology, the ANCOS of Benin received the support of the IDB, the Islamic Development Bank, which seeks to promote the development and popularization of new agricultural technologies through the WAP. Through this initiative, the intention of the IDB and the West Africa Agricultural Productivity Program of the West and Central African Council for Agricultural Research and Development, CORAF-WECARD, is to provide young people with new avenues for job creation through the use of these technologies.